Hey, it's Rob Beeler. I'm here with MSG. It's been a busy quarter, so we're limbering up to get through a lot of material here. There we go. Q1, busy time. MSG, you took time, not only you did your earning reports, you pull all your analysis together from all your sources and everything you listened to, and you pull all this together.
It's a labor of love, as I tell everyone, a labor of love.
I don't know how you do it. I'm glad you do. Saves me a lot of homework, a lot of reading, let's first of all, let's we're gonna try different things here. We're gonna go through some more of the headlines of your top sections as opposed to just the summary or whatever. We'll see. Again, part of this, and again, throw it out to everyone, is we enjoy doing this. We're always looking for the feedback. You think we should focus on something? Let us know.
Yes, we need more feedback. Please send us feedback. Okay, the more feedback we get, the better this gets. I think everything was no banter in the beginning, which we're already going against. So let's move on.
That's fine. Just as long as no interior decorators call us up. All right. So let's talk about overall the tech scrutiny is here. 5G is lurking and trust is eroding. That was one of your headlines here.
So you read the trades like I do. You see what's going on. It feels like every article, every podcast I listen to, every political 2020 candidate like Elizabeth Warren is talking about tech scrutiny. Zuckerberg saying this. It's just all over the place, as prevalent as I've ever seen in a given quarter.
Yeah, and it's again, and even today, right? The Facebook passwords are on Amazon servers available out there. I mean, they can't. I think
that tech scrutiny is here and trust is eroding. Like, there's no trust anymore with any of the big tech companies out there. However, I can tell you right now, my friend Dan Ballister runs a campaign on Facebook. It works. The return on ad spend is work. The CPA is low. It's amazing.
You could feel how you want to, about the tech giants, but their defense will be ad supported, right? Yes. To your point, because it works, right? So democracy be damned. I need my ads to work.
Unless you're Apple, which we'll get to, and we'll get to later.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing is, and then everyone talks about 5G, right? Mm-hmm. And even on my phone, today I was in a meeting and I had 5GE in there, or 5G whatever. Like, there's no 5G happening. Right. New phones can get 5G. There's not a phone upgrade happening. And by the way, when the phone upgrade does happen, Apple will make a fortune selling new 5G phones. But it's not even close to being here. I think T-Mobile wants to sue AT&T and Verizon for saying there's 5G because it's not here.
That really is going to screw everyone up in terms of understanding where we are with it and the true potential, right? Because 5G is going to be.
I think there's a whole new world with 5G. I think I wrote it right here. 5G means no latency. It means you download a movie in seconds. Right. And then I also think that what happens is the cord gets cut from, Time Warner or Spectrum, whatever it's called these days, and I stream everything through my phone. That's kind of interesting.
Think of all those tracking pixels agencies have no longer causing latency. That was ad tech joke.
You have to talk from the agencies a little bit.
Yeah, we no longer have to worry about that because
And the other thing I also want to add is the breaking up the tech giants, everyone's talking about it. There are hundreds of unintended consequences that none of us understand. Right? And I would love for someone to say, hey, MSG, can you get 5 people in a room and can we spend a day talking about the unintended consequences of breaking up Facebook, Google, and Amazon, what they are? Right?
Yeah.
Does it mean China comes in? Is there more competition? That's good, but then prices go up. I don't know, but there's so many things that can go bad with the breakup of them.
It's something we should that would be an amazing conversation. That's something that could be really, really cool. Yeah.
Well,
cool.
We might. I talking to Rich Cocapola. We might do it at the roundtable on May 10th. Our publisher roundtables end it with the unintended consequences of breaking up the tech giants. Start the conversation.
Right. I love it. It. So you have a couple other things here in your first section. Now we're talking about breaking up tech companies. You talk about breaking up.
The one
The
I want to
IAB.
talk about is the amount of people looking for jobs today
Yeah.
in the ad tech world is crazy. I get people reaching out to me a lot, which I love them to reach out to me because I like helping. And then I don't know if I can talk about this, but I guess Seismic sort of happened in Q2, not Q1, maybe the end of, right? Right. So there's 1,000 people out there from Seismic looking for jobs. Right. I had someone reach out to me today and said, a headhunter reached out to them saying, I got 20 people at Seismic I can place in your corporation tomorrow. Right. And I think it's in the past, we were all pulled into jobs. Right. People would call you up and say, hey, Rob, come work for me. I think in the ad tech world, the bigger ad tech world, that's just not happening anymore.
Yeah. Do you?
It's sad. My Seismic takeaway was I feel bad for the 1,000 of people there who are losing their job, pretty much no fault of their own.
Right. I wonder though if in housing and some of the brands now looking for people who understand some of this space, I think will be some good opportunity for some really good people. I just don't think it's at the volume. There are going to be people who are.
I think one of the pieces I said, these people looking for jobs, like, go work for an agency. Right? Agency needs smart people. And they're like, well, they don't pay enough. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Go work for the agency, get the job. In a couple of years, they're figuring it out, and then go to a brand or something else. But this ad tech world, they're all in. It's shrinking, and the jobs are not there like they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah. No, good point. So, but let's get to the one I wanted to hit on.
It's the one that we talked about.
The IAB. What are you talking about?
First of all, you know what I'm talking about, number one. Number two, I'll probably get myself in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. Here's my dog right here. I don't think the IAB does a very good job. I don't think they've invented any new ad units in a long time, right? I think they spend way too much time on DTC. I feel like Facebook and Google sort of like the chaos because the chaos means that the other publishers don't do well. And I think somewhere in there, someone needs to go in and change the IAB, make it different, and make them work for the publishers more so than what's been happening as of late. And I assume, Rob, you feel the same way. You're not going to say it. Make me say it. You're not going to say it.
Yeah, you know what? I am. I'll go on record again because and I do have obviously partner with IAB on a number of different things. The agenda. I help them with something.
It doesn't mean they need to change. If I'm breaking it up, they need to fundamentally change. Is that better?
Yeah, I 100% agree. And the one thing that they've said for a long time that I think has just come to roost now is they don't really have teeth. Right? There's no enforcement in our space. So they've thrown out standards, they've thrown out ad sizes, no one adopts them, and it's almost like, why bother? And they're going after the DTC, which is brand new money in terms of membership and brands and whatever. That's the part where I go like, don't lose your core. Your core is the people who go. And
so I'll say this again. Going back to the unintended consequences of breaking up the tech companies, right? Put you and me in a room with 5 other people. We can come up with an agenda for the IAB that won't suck. How's that?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to find out if how many IAB members are how many IAB employees are listening to the podcast.
And then one more thing. I have to say my last bullet point because I say that whenever you're hire more analysts. Every single company listening, hire more analysts. I think I wrote that in every single email. And then when I already started my Q2 2019, and I put my first bullet point in there is hire more analysts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just came out with an article about the fact that, we have to move on from this stuff. And at the same time, you have to understand what it means. You need analysts who actually understand how these systems work, right? I get nervous as everyone outsourcing everything and no one actually understanding how it actually works. And
to me, the analyst is like I'm old. I think you're old too, but I'm old. We use Excel. You can't use Excel today to run a business. You need to go beyond that. Tableau or Domo or Looker or Power BI, whatever it is, just move on of Excel. Like make a rule. Every analyst cannot use Excel for the next 3 months. Figure it out.
There you go. My rule, don't let a meeting result in a new Excel spreadsheet. That was one of my rules back in my day.
Okay, then I'll use Google
meeting. It does. All right, let's move on. So, I want to talk about the next item here: platforms and aggregators, Triopoly and Apple.
Well, yeah. So it's funny. So I'm going to throw this out right now. What's after? We have the duopoly. We have a triopoly. What's after the triopoly? Is it a quadropoly?
Let's go with that. Quadopoly.
Or is it an oligopoly?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, let's call it the quadropoly. So if we're having a quadropoly, let me ask you this question, put you on the spot. Who's number 4, Rob Beeler?
Well, I think it will be Netflix.
Okay, so
I don't think it's Netflix now.
It won't be Netflix. Netflix is never taking traditional advertising. They're never going to have 15 or 30s in between spots. And I can tell you right now, Netflix has ads today. They're so good, we don't even notice it. And you know what that is? Product placement.
Yeah.
You watch Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, okay? What product do you see there all the time? Do you remember, Rob Beeler? Do you watch that?
I do not watch that show.
It's GMC. I watch this other dating show, which name I forget. You know the product placement there is? Lyft. So they have ads everywhere. It's product placement. None of us realize they're ads.
There you go.
So going back.
All right.
The duopoly.
Apple. Is it not Apple?
No. Apple hates ads. Apple's trying to kill ads.
Well, sure.
Okay, you ready? I'll whisper this one to you. The Trade Desk.
Going to be number 4, huh?
Could it be? Right. I was throwing it out there. I heard someone say it today. I'm like, wow, I didn't think about that. I used to think Criteo was going to be big. But could it be Google, Facebook, Amazon, and the Trade Desk? And by the way, I'm a Trade Desk fanboy, but kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really cool point. That's where you threw me because I'd not heard that point before, but I like that. At least it's a good thinking point in terms of their strength in the market and where they stand. And correct. Yeah, we are definitely on the fanboy side of Trade Desk. So yes. I can see it.
So you got the triopoly, maybe a quadropoly, right? And then you have Apple on the other side, and it feels like every time they do something, they're just trying to kill advertising, right? Every single time.
From a marketing perspective, it's good marketing, right? It's the message resonates, right? Timing could be better.
It's fascinating. But then you have like Safari 11 versus Safari 10, and there's no tracking pixels, so CPMs go down fundamentally, right? You have Criteo stock goes down because there's talk about Google taking out tracking pixels. You know, the ads inside your phone kill the battery. It feels like every time you turn a corner, Apple's trying to kill ads.
Yeah, interesting. So what else in this particular section? Is there anything else that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot about here in the subscription world. Like, I still think Disney Plus will be niche. I think other people have said it's going to be huge. I don't see that today, right? You have, Google spent $25 billion on capital, bigger than anyone else. One of my favorite ones in here is who does product for Facebook, but Evan Spiegel, the guy who runs Snapchat. Like, I thought that was funny. No one else did. And then you have, the FANG, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, they're spending more money on TV than anyone, right? Because TV builds brands, right? Period, end of conversation, TV builds brands.
Got it. All right, let's move on.
Any other ones that are of interest to you here? Oh, the other one I love over here is also, and I heard Martin Sorrell say this, Amazon gets to digital, make them long tail, and so will Amazon.
Say it one more time because you broke up. There was just a little bit of breakout. Repeat that same line.
Facebook and Google get, I think, over 50 or 60% of their revenue from the mid to long tail, which is part of the reason why they're so big. Every mom and pop buying AdWords or Facebook, right? Amazon will probably be the same way, right? Yeah. So if you're a small marketer what are you going to do? I'm buying Facebook, I'm buying Google search, and then I'm buying Amazon. Now, I'm not going to use the trade desk because you have to pay to get a seat on that. But Facebook, Google, and Amazon are free, which makes all the difference in the world for the small and mid-tail, which means that Facebook can have 6 million advertisers, so can Amazon. And by the way, there's probably, I don't know this for a fact, there's probably 6 million companies on Amazon selling goods, so there'll be advertisers as well. So it's that really nice virtuous circle they have.
Absolutely. Great. Let's talk publishers. Let's talk about well, again, some of your stack research. So you had talked about this heading into the quarter, and it sounds like you've seen through the stack data.
Yeah, well, I talk about Stack all the time, and as I do say, full disclosure, I do help them, right? But I think the data is fascinating, and the takeaway is there's more inventory in Q1 2019 than Q1 2018. Okay, it therefore drove CPMs down. I think it's 10 or 15%, and then revenue was only up slightly. Now, some publishers did really well, some did not, but overall, and I think I heard Facebook say this as well, there's extra inventory out there in the marketplace, which then hurts CPMs across the board, right?
Yeah.
And the stack benchmarking gives you that nice overview of, I think, 30 publishers to look at.
Yeah. No, it's I can tell you from my experience and who I'm talking to that I think that trend is there. There is still some really good direct business. It's there, but it's hard, and it's not the norm, if you will.
And the other thing, the direct business, as you know, takes so much time and energy, from RFP coming in to RFP response to waiting, everything you do. You then realize the beauty of programmatic. Yeah,
absolutely. You take a shot here at digital NewFronts as well.
Yeah, what are they? Well, we'll go back to you got to change the IAB, you got to change the digital NewFronts. I've been to a couple. Have you been to any?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Right, but they don't really help. There's no upfront season. There should be an upfront season. They're just, it feels like, again, that's something that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And again, put you and I in a room with 5 other people, we'll figure out how to do it. I think that's my answer to everything. I think my answer to everything.
Yeah. We're looking for 5 people.
Yes, okay, now you're going to the podcast one, right?
Yeah, please. Yeah, talk to us about the podcast.
I love podcasts. I think in the Q2 one, I'm going to break out podcast /audio/voice as a separate sort of tab. I love podcasts. I think the ads are a mess, right? Sometimes the ads are 3 minutes in the middle, skip, you're done. Sometimes it's the same ad over and over and over, which is just too repetitive. When a host reads the ad for the podcast, it works unbelievably well, especially if the host believes in the product, sort of going back to the radio days.
Yeah.
Measurement's a mess, but it's such a powerful, intimate medium. And you and I joke around with Larry Allen, we should make our own podcast. It's sort of what we're doing here, but it works so well.
Yeah, I agree.
And I have to shout out to my favorite podcasts by far are Kara Swisher and Peter Kafka.
So
and I invited Peter Kafka to our dinner on May 9th. He couldn't make it. But if I talk about him enough, because I think you and I are fanboys, maybe he'll show up to our dinner on the 9th, our 10th event. But I think I put it out there.
Well, we'll ask. I will say, and it's funny you mentioned Kara Swisher, because as you were talking about it, I 100% agree on the read by the host. But it is strange to me as I listen to Recode and Pivot and hear Kara Swisher talk about products I feel she probably has zero experience or interest in, but it tells you, as much as I like to try to be independent of having to shill anything, that's not the world we live in. Kara Swisher has to read a thing
every morning I walk my dog for 45 minutes to an hour. I listen to podcasts the entire time, right? I listen to the Wall Street Journal one. It's 10 minutes. It's fabulous, right? I can tell you who the advertisers were. Even if I try to skip, I hear it over and over and over. It was Indeed. Right. I listened to the eMarketer one. I can tell you the advertiser was Salesforce because they say it enough. So I guess it is working, but it's then annoying as well.
Yeah. So let's talk ad tech, right? And obviously we already touched on a couple of things there, and we've already mentioned the trade desk a couple of times already, but you've also mentioned beeswax here too.
Well, yeah, and it's also ad tech's hurting. I'll use that word. And you look at my bullet points, I got like 7 bullet points for ad tech. Some of my other headlines, some of my other topics, I have 15 or 20 plus.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, the ad tech companies that make it are the DSPs.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and again, we're both fans of Ari and of beeswax.
Ari Papara is the smartest technical mind in ad tech. He actually sent me an email back blushing. He said he was blushing.
That's all right. We can make him blush. He's earned it. He's definitely and again he spoke at one of your events, and it was fascinating, right?
Yeah.
It was absolutely there. The one thing I'll mention on the seismic, though, again, this is technically Q2 stuff or whatever, is that one of the conversations I had about it.
I think the first article came out on the 30th, so I think we're okay.
Okay, all right, cool. We got it under the gun there. But just if I were a tech company to whom seismic owes money, right? That's where I really hadn't thought through the ripple effect of a bankruptcy like that, right? So again, we always talk about mergers and consolidations and some people dying off. Someone's left holding the bag with some debt, some unpaid bills on their books that is probably hurting right now.
And think about the seismic, rocket fuel DSP. No one's giving them inventory anymore because they haven't paid their bills, right?
Right.
And then and I think everything about rocket fuel had such bad karma. Like, I still go back to their 63% margins when they went public. And I think if you look back in time, like, rocket fuel might have been the demise of ad tech.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be an interesting prediction.
I also want to add, I still think that free wall should have been so much bigger in video. And I still think Comcast should buy the trade desk.
All right. Okay.
Let's
keep an eye on time. I want to talk about retail. You've got a couple other topics here that I think are interesting and new for people who are ad tech people who need to be thinking about retail. Talk to us about retail.
Now, one more thing about retail. I'm trying to do a publicly traded company analysis on retail in Q2 or Q1 if I get someone to help me. And I think I might have someone retail, so that'll be fun.
Good.
Which ones do you like here?
Let's see. I'll tell you what was news for me is the Philadelphia banning cashless stores. Again, it's not necessarily a trend, but I just hadn't heard that before.
Yes, I heard that 3 times in one day.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I heard it on the radio. My wife, I heard it on a podcast. My wife told me, and I read in the New York Times. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy, right? Because you love the convenience, but then you realize, it's the other half who doesn't have the credit cards. What do they do?
Yeah. You also talking here about DTC and, again, that there's where do we stand with DTC, and has that hit its
there's a couple of things. I believe there's 6 DTC unicorns, right? You got Warby Parker, Kylie Cosmetics, Jessica Alba Beauty, Dollar Shave Club, Casper, which might go public, and Glossier. They're all valued at $1 billion plus, right? And it's interesting, 3 of those 6 are beauty, right? Mm-hmm. So I guess beauty has the really high margins, the old standby companies, other companies realize they can come in and make a difference. And of course, plus my friend Dan Ballister of the General's Hot Sauce, gotta love that, right? And then my last point, again, because we're trying to be a little controversial here, Tim Armstrong, Yahoo, AOL, Oath, now Verizon Media Group just started a DTC company, and did DTC jump the shark? Meaning, not that it's slowly dying, as I rewrote this. If you're not in DTC now as a company, is it too late?
Right. So that's interesting, right? So he's not the cooler, right? In other words, the minute he enters a space, it's done because he's entered it. It's because when he's entered it, that means the fast movers are already done.
Right. And then I was talking to Kara Swisher, interviewing him, and Kara said, "Hey Tim, when you were at AOL, Yahoo, Oath, Verizon Media Group, you never talked about retail e-commerce, but now you're into it, so it's a little bit weird." So, like, are there no more DTC companies unless you're out there already going to make it? That's my hypothesis.
Interesting.
And again, either way, as I said before up top, every one of these bullets is to have a conversation, and these are good conversations to have.
Yeah. Only thing I'll throw out to you is, and again, I like my shirts, I like my jackets. I clicked on an Instagram ad.
Well, Instagram's different. Instagram's going to be, what they say, add $10 billion in revenue to Instagram with all their shopping they're going to do. It's going to be phenomenal. That's a whole different conversation.
And I will just tell you now, I am flooded with choices and options I didn't know existed in clothing. And it's going to be an expensive Q2 for me.
Right, but will those companies be around in the next couple of years is the question.
Yeah, they've got to bank on being bought, right? I agree 100%. 100%. Marketers and agencies. So you're seeing some movement here on the agency side versus just doom and gloom. They're adapting, or some of them are adapting, or is it the in-housing is changing?
It feels like the in-housing is just happening in so many different ways that you really can't figure it out. And there's so many different iterations of in-housing, but it feels like most non-DTC companies, or I guess every company, they work with agencies just all in different ways, right? Where 5 years was more traditional. Now some's co-located, some are not co-located. It keeps on moving and moving. And I don't think there's a lot of growth in agencies, even though I do say the ad tech people should go work for agencies. It's just fascinating watching how they morph into something new almost every day.
Yeah, Look, we all know the agencies like to consider themselves to be special onto themselves. They are more like each other than they would like to admit, but the brands are definitely different, and they bring that culture and what they want to take in and what they want to own. So to your point, I don't think there's going to be an in-housing playbook, right? Because I think
you thought there was 5 years ago, and then everything it got thrown up, and everything's different.
Right. Everything is just going to be chaos like that and whatever.
Yeah.
So you got a highlighted thing here. Who will win TV buying?
Yeah. So I had a conversation today with Matt Kaplan at Univision, and it's clear that the traditional TV buyers at $70 billion are going to beat the OTT CTV buyers at $2 billion. Yeah. Right. So it's going to be traditional TV. Period. End of conversation.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Let's see if there's anything else there. No, I think that's good. I like to move on, just because again, esports and e-gaming is an area you've been following. I agree that this is definitely a fascinating area, and while I've had someone speak from Twitch at Ad Monsters, and I don't know that everyone got it right. And there's just a piece again, like you got to look above, right? It isn't about ads on your site. It is these kinds of trends. This is the future of entertainment. Agreed.
Oh, I believe it is. I mean, You have kids. I have kids. I see what they do, sports or play games pretty much all the time, especially if you have boys. And I think some of the traditional media companies are just slow to pick up on what's happening and how this world's changing. You and I watched the video that Rich Greenfield talked about, of League of Legends in Korea. Phenomenal. It's like the Super Bowl when you watch that. The price pool for the Fortnite World Cup's $100 million. You have players, professional athletes making a couple $1 million a year now. It's just growing everywhere. And ESPN, I don't think it's in their best interest to promote esports because they spend so much money on traditional rights. Yeah. And then the piece side, one of my favorite pieces here is I think every major sports game will eventually have multiple feeds. And I think I heard Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban say this. You get one traditional one that we're used to looking at and listening to. You get one for the gamblers, one for Twitch, one for millennials, one for AR or VR. Instead of having the one feed to the masses, you have 20 feeds of 20 different sets of people.
Right.
And maybe 5G when the bandwidth there, it's easier, but it feels like that has to happen. That's a no-brainer.
The PGA Tour does something interesting, right? Which is you can follow a player through, a day versus just following the coverage, right? And that's again that tailored, catered version of the content. I would 100% agree that there's give us the bandwidth, give us 5G.
It's going to happen,
and you're gonna be able to create these brand new experiences. You and I might talk about the same game and catch up over Monday at the water cooler, and it may be a completely different experience than the game we watched. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure when they did the college football, right? They had
Basketball.
one version on ESPN and one on ESPN2, and they were different, right? Like you need more of that.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Cool.
Okay,
and you
so
think
what does
Google?
Oh, you were going to do Google? Which one? Okay, go ahead. I was jumping to the
Google Stadia. I'm curious your thoughts there.
Oh, I think Google's pretty damn good at what they do. They introduced Stadia. I think it's a big deal for gaming, and I think the integration they have with YouTube, like Amazon's got Twitch, Google has YouTube. I think what they're going to do there is going to be pretty damn powerful in this gaming world.
Yeah, I agree. My son, who is into gaming, he's going to go to college for video game production management. We had a good conversation about this. It was kind of interesting to see those worlds kind of come together. I bring up my son because we're going to bring up your son on the very end of this. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So let's bring it home. We've kind of hit time where we wanted to be. Let's wrap it up.
Okay. So more changes happening than ever before in the ecosystem, right? Companies need to stop thinking about the day, the week, start thinking about the future. Status quo is unacceptable. You got to keep on changing, thinking forward. There's white space out there. Take the time and brainstorm. As we say, be like Bezos, right? Plan today for 2 to 3 years. And I added my last bullet point, which is here, be bold. Take risks, be bold.
I want to add one thing is
you're not allowed to.
People read that. Don't think necessarily about your company. Think about yourself. I still think ad tech is a really interesting space to have a career as the beginning of a career. You're piecing together something that's so trying to pull it together. I think those skills will work elsewhere if and when you want to do that.
I disagree. I will not let my kids go into ad tech. 5 years ago, I would love for them to have gone into ad tech, not today.
More about okay, all right. I'm gonna ponder my answer on that. Of course, you had this edited by the fine William Goldstein.
My son William. Now, by the way, you had a little typo up there. He probably I missed it. Any editing issue is me, not him. He's really good.
Got it. There we go. Fix that on air. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for walking us through the quarter.
Yeah. One more thing again. Let's say this one more time. Whoever listens to this, send us feedback, please.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take it. We want to evolve this, right? This is fun, and some point we're gonna have 5 other people, and we'll go and we'll start to plot all this stuff out. I'm looking.
Or I want to do it in person next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll try that.
Okay.
All right, MSG, I'll let you go. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.